video is going to start out kind of slow and boring. Please stick with me. I'm going to replace the fuel pump, all the fuel lines, the fuel rail, and all the fittings in the system. The entire fuel system is going to be replaced other than the factory injectors. The reason I'm doing the fuel system is so I can turn up the fuel pressure because I have a fuel trim issue that I can't otherwise figure out. It's adding 15, 17-ish% in long trims. That means it's averaging 15 to 17% more fuel than its baseline, and it can only go to 25. I'm going to go over real quick the products that I'm going to use. None of this stuff is sponsored. I paid for all of this. I want you to see it so that you can use it for your car. These are the kind of things that I appreciate when I see in videos. I got a bunch of radium parts. This is a 2JZ GE fuel rail, fuel pressure regulator with a built-in damper. This is the key to the whole program here. If I can use this to turn up the fuel pressure past kind of what a stock system should have, and I can get my fuel trims in order, pressure gauge, and I got more fittings than I needed, but I didn't know exactly how it's all going to go together. This is like $900 worth of stuff right here. PTFE-6 line kit, all the fittings. This is Evil Energy. It's from Amazon. There's that. So 900 bucks, about 100 bucks. This is kind of the big expensive thing. Well, this is the other big expensive thing. This is a Serial 9 fuel pump hanger, and I opted for the Hellcat fuel pump. This fuel pump itself is rated for 900 horsepower on pump fuel at 40 PSI. That's more than this car will probably ever make. Ever. Also, if you want to like keep up to date on these videos, follow me on Instagram, Big City Off-Road. I'm gonna have to try to do some more self-pimping and promotion. I love the comments. One of you guys really wants me to keep this in auto. That's not happening, but I swear to you, I'll definitely have video of this thing sliding around a corner for you in automatic transmission form. I would love for that to be in this video. Fingers crossed, 18 minutes from now, you're watching me slide this fucking thing around a corner. Let's start putting some of this shit in the car. I guess I'll leave this here for now, but all that stuff will be gone in 3, 2. All right, we can bend that out of the way because we're never gonna use that again, hopefully.
There's these keychains with all the cars that we have.
That's the mock-up game. So you install it 3 or 4 times before you install it. Let me show you. So the return line is going to come here through these 2 intake runners. Hang on, let me get a light. It'll come out here and then come down and around. So that piece might be, say, only 18 inches long. And the regulator is going to mount right about here. Make a bracket. I still have to clean up the edges, but I wanted to get something. I also made a backing plate for the mounting plate for this, so I could figure out at exactly what angle. Let's find a place that I really like it. See, it's away from the body there. This stupid thing, whatever it is. I'm moving from the engine to the fuel pump, get all the hard parts mounted. It's like 33 degrees in the garage right now, so my hands are cold and my nose is stuffy. Ooh, how much fuel we got? Oh, this thing's fucking swollen. Fuel pressure regulator is new, and the pump is new. This gets transferred to the new fuel pump, and the rest of this stuff is basically junk. So this is a direct drop-in replacement. I do hook that siphon tube up here. I also forgot to mention in the beginning, this was 750 bucks. So 900 for the stuff on the engine, 100 bucks for lines, and then this was 750. I've got the pump assembled. I've got my level sensor transferred. You have to bolt a bracket on there. You have to connect the pump. I double checked that all the hardware was tight. They send you a gauge to measure the bottom of the pump off of this so that you have the pump set at the right depth. That's sort of the return jet pump that's going to siphon fuel from that side of the tank to this side of the tank. So if you don't hook that up, you'll empty this side of the tank, and whatever kind of splashes over, that's all you're going to get, which is not enough. Let's get all this stuff down in there. It's got a nice new seal already installed on it, and it comes with really nice hardware. All right, that's a pump installed. I've got to cut up the original wiring here and connect that. I've got to make lines to go from the front to the back. I'm pulling the fuel line. Because it's a returnless system, there's only one line. How do I get out? There we go. Well, not a drop. I had to make a wrench. I had to modify a little wrench in order to get that fitting tight. But turns out it had to be installed in place. The rail is fully installed. All the lines have been made and they're fully installed and tight. The pump's in, regulator's in. It is time now to prime the system. The battery is not hooked up to the car. I am simply going to give power and ground to the terminals for the pump itself. Pressurize the system that way using a power probe. If you've never used a power probe, it's like a fancy test light, possibly one of the coolest tools. It's gonna make noise. You can add power and ground sources. Very cool tool. So, with any luck, PSI here. I'm gonna go to 42 with it running, which is like the stock level. Does not appear to run well. I'm trying to go for a drive. I sort of saw that coming. You also may have noticed I put on the 11-inch wide wheels. You hear it running. I'm going to try and rig the camera in the car and go for a drive. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's just see what happens when I floor it from a stop. Oh, that was a lot better.
7-inch wide wheels are cool. I think that's just like an objective truth. They're just rubbing like crazy on the body. There's not a lot of fitment here. For the time being, I'm gonna pull the 11s off. I'm gonna put the 10s back on, but they sit so far in because the offsets are wildly different.
Let's see, what size tires is?
Two 85/30/20s, Michelin Pilot Super Sport. I'm gonna put these on without a wheel spacer so you can see how they sit in the body. All right, so this is how the 10s fit. I got some 15mm spacers to put in here to bring these out, you know, 15mm. Now, being a 15mm wheel spacer means you get studs. I just knocked the studs out of them. I have really long studs, specifically to do this with. Drift cars are all about looks. I really want to lower the car like, I don't know, 2 more inches, like a lot, front and rear. That's gonna come with a lot of cutting. I'm not ready to do that yet. Why would I do that to a car I can't drive? That said, the car actually does kind of drive now. I've got the fuel pressure up to 60 PSI, which really has mostly band-aided whatever the actual problem is. I'm this close to just going ahead with an engine swap. I know some of you guys there just don't want me to LS swap it. Bristol, I know you want me to LS swap it more than anybody, probably more than I do. And I just love the sound of a turbo 2J. I do have this list behind me. We kind of went over that a little bit. You saw me write it down. So let's go ahead and erase some stuff. So fuel system done. It's all complete. This video is all about this fuel system. Bumpers, rear bash bar, that's done. Front bash bar, intercooler, that's to come. Body kit, I got a front lip for it. I got a little ducktail. I want side skirts and a rear lip. I'm gonna try to keep it fairly minimal on this car. I don't want big VIP stupid shit. Ride height, lower 2 inches. Yes, that's gonna happen. Cut fenders, metal over fenders, cut firewall, tube front end maybe, roll cage. That's gonna be a whole video or 2 by itself. We're not even gonna go into that at the moment. Battery's gonna go in the back. Probably I'll just snap my fingers and we'll go to battery in the back. Odyssey AGM battery. It's an H6. I want to put it right there. What do you think? Don't like it? It's gotta work. This is zero gauge stuff. It goes through the firewall and connects to where the original battery was. I made this plate. I put in this battery disconnect switch. Battery hold down got painted, bolted to the floor. I got some military style terminals. And then I got a little distribution block over there. I have power coming in from that distribution block. I have a 40 amp fuse to some 12 gauge. It is speaker wire, but still it's good wire. Comes directly from the battery to the block, from the block to this 120 amp relay, and then out of this relay down into the fuel pump. That's way overkill for a relay, but it should be plenty. I have a ground and the original power wire as a trigger, and so that's my fuel pump relay. And then I should be able to split off from the battery here and send some power up to the dash. Made some nice bulkhead pass-throughs for the wires. They're epoxied in, but they're also bolted from the inside. Wires go through the firewall down. They got P-clamps holding them to the firewall on some stock stud that's there, and then everything's zip tied into the back, nice and clean. It's bolted to the stock ground on the chassis, and then from there there's another wire that goes to the block. So all new, all clean, all the surfaces prepped nicely, raw steel. This is zip tied here so it doesn't like bounce around, but you know, all the original stuff is exactly where it was and how it was. There's no like alternative wiring here. I've been starting to drive this more and more and more. It's okay, like it's not wonderful, but it's all right. A couple of you guys are saying in comments, you know, your MAF tube is too big, blah blah blah. This car ran completely identically to this when it was 100% stock. When there was absolutely nothing aftermarket on this car, it ran exactly like it does now. Drive it to work this way. I'd like to get a hood on it so it can be a little bit less ignorant looking out on the street. Next project in the garage is clean the fucking garage. I don't know where the rest of this video is going to go.